Everybody loves a prequel, and for fans of Menopause, there's a new origin story that you've got to see. It's called Perimenopause, which surprised me because perimenopause is actually my drag name.
Perimenopause. Some say it's their Wonder Woman era. Like, I wonder, what did I come in here for? Or you're trying to sleep, but you're rethinking every awkward moment you've ever had. Then your body's on fire. No warning. Just spontaneous combustion. Wondering if this is perimenopause? It usually starts in your 40s, but it can be earlier. For information and support, visit health.gov.au/perimenopause. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
This is shock news, but I've got perimenopause. A lot of that ad was relatable, particularly needing my font this large on my phone. Yes. But I was expecting to see this.
Ah, McCain, you're going through the change.
Carolyn, is this a hot flash of genius?
You know what? I actually really love that the government's done a campaign for women like this. And I think that the way that they've produced this ad without making it too much of a diatribe about looking after women in this certain age or making it depressing or, you know, making it something that, you know, is a very serious issue. Even though the issue is serious, it's not repulsive, so it doesn't turn people off. And this is a serious issue. Like, it's going through perimenopause and then menopause can take nearly 2 decades of your life if you're very unlucky. Like, it is a long process and it's going to happen to 50% of the population sooner or later. So being able to do it in a humorous way, and I think that the woman in the freezer is a great example of that. It's not a turn-off for people to be able to listen to the messages that are going on. And I do think that whilst this is aimed at women to help them, you know, really understand what they might want to talk to their healthcare professional or even employer about, it's also for the broader society at large, saying this is something that women do go through and it is something that we should be able to talk about and be quite open in conversation with. So I think it's actually a good first step. This is the first time I recall seeing any menopause advertising on telly and I'm here for it.
I absolutely agree. This is normalisation, not catastrophisation. It's such an important topic because the media traditionally has trivialised what menopause is, and there is so much misinformation and there is so much fake news out there around menopause, which affects 50% of the population. There are more than 48 symptoms that women go through and suffer through, which a lot of the time are mental and physical. They're really disparate, they're really subjective. And I think the more that we get the awareness and the conversations around what are some of these symptoms, what are your experiences, destigmatising the taboo around this topic. The problem with marketing right now is they've jumped on this opportunity and it's called menowashing. And once you notice it once, you will start noticing it everywhere. And it's honestly, it makes me really angry. You have brands basically pink washing their products, marking them up, vague menopause claims, no medical credibility behind what they're saying. It's unregulated and it's a super commercial space. This is everything from supplements, vitamins, teas, even chocolate, being marketed to desperate women that need answers and resolve, and it's not going to give them anything. So the government is standing up against that right now. They're driving a conversation around real symptoms. Go see your GP and go to one of these specialised clinics, which is phase 2 that the government is going to be injecting some of those funds into as well. So there is a lot of action behind just this awareness campaign. Thank God.
Yeah. The thing, of course, for us all to watch is whether they're going to spend the money that they need to spend on actually getting it out there. So they're saying 12 million over 2 years. 6 million a year, that is, Will. So 6 million a year. Yeah. 6 million.
I mean, I do say to you before the show, dumb it down for me. I didn't mean quite that far.
Yeah. So 6 million a year, that's really not a lot. There's 2 million Australian women in their 40s. Is that actually going to communicate to, you know, all of them? Because they do, obviously everyone needs to see this advertising. The good news is I believe that they can get a lot of the media spent, you know, at 3 o'clock in the morning. The good thing about 3 o'clock in the morning is it's really cheap, and people are up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know,
they can't sleep.
They can't sleep, and so there's a really strong opportunity to hyper target. Tactically, you get your communication right according to the time and how you might be feeling at a particular time. I believe there's also a 3 a.m. hub whereby women are able to go and sort of learn more. So maybe 6 million is enough because you can really hyper target at particular day parts, and that might be an advantage for this campaign.
I think every single woman in their 40s has had a conversation with another woman, at least one, if not a group of women, about menopause and menopausal symptoms. And I also think, I'm hoping what this ad is actually going to do is just normalise it more broadly. Like I often say in meetings, if I just can't bring a name to mind or something, I call it my meno moment, because literally, like the frustration of not being able to remember things that were so easy and to hand previously is irritating as hell. And that's not a GP visit worthy, but it is something that other people in the room need to be aware of and understand. I'm not an idiot at this point. I'm just, my hormones are going a little bit nuts and I can't recall that name right now.
Yeah, and if you're in a room with me and that happens, I'm probably just a bit high.
Yeah, tonally it's important to make sure that this is not the end of your life. This is not doom and gloom. I love in traditional Chinese medicine, the word for menopause actually translates to second spring. And so for centuries, they have this reframe around it's not the end, it's not your decline, you know, it's this valuable second half of your existence that is just as valuable as the first. And there's a lot to learn about that reframe. And right now in Australia, we just need to talk about it more.
And it is an interesting use of humor. So instead of making a joke about perimenopause, which would have been horrible, they make a kind of insightful observation of what it's like to have it. So they can make you, in the beginning, smile a little bit, because as soon as you say perimenopause, people are kind of going, oh, what's this going to be about? And the joke at the beginning eases the door open to allow you to kind of get into this and understand it. Because they very easily could have been a joke about perimenopause, a gag, and they didn't do that. So I thought they thread that line quite well.
And I think the most important message in this ad is actually that everyone's going to experience it individually. So there is no one thing that you go through. Like the experience from woman to woman is going to be very unique. And I think that's only something that you learn through discovery normally. And you kind of think, well, my mother didn't do that or my sister didn't do that. Why is this happening to me? And I turned up to my doctor, and this is maybe too much information, but I've never had a hot sweat, but I have had absolute bouts of freezing hypothermia for no reason, that just come out of nowhere when it's not actually cold. And I'm just like, what the hell is this? And I ended up Googling it. My GP had never heard of it, but it's actually quite a common symptom as well. And so it's these things that you just have to advocate for what you're going through, and it's not going to be the same experience as the person next to you.
And I now need a blankie to host this show. I have a little blankie on my... I've got a little blankie.
There you go.